Grandpa Dave here, Granny Jill there. We promised you, Grandma Jill.
Part 2?
We promised you a part 2. Here it is. Stories. Well, let's listen to what Grandma Jill has to say about certain dating times.
Now see, I told Grandpa Dave that he was supposed to talk. I was going to interject. So here I am on the spot. Now, unlike Grandpa Dave, I have a cheat sheet.
No
I
glasses.
have a cheat sheet. No glasses.
She can't read it anyway.
So you have to realize the time that Grandpa Dave and I were dating was in the 70s. And it was a fun time. I mean, it was the time of bell bottoms, the Brady Bunch, Kicks.
Kicks?
Yeah, the cereal.
Get
Kicks.
your kicks? Oh.
Kicks, the cereal, was one of my favorite. Fruit Loops. It was a fun time. It was a good time to grow up. So during this time, Grandpa Dave has all of these adventures that he has done, and you have heard of so many of them. I lived in the city. I didn't have quite as many as he did, so we had to come up with our own adventures, different than what he did. Ours was playing night games until 10, 11 o'clock at night, till your mom finally came out and said, "Come home, it's dark." So we would come home. Or we would be out doorbell ditching. You go to the doorbell, ring the door, and run as fast as you could. Fun. Fun for us kids. We would go egging. So egging, we would drag Maine. What the city folk did, we would drag Maine, and we would huck. Huck? Is that a word? Throw eggs at each other. We would throw eggs at each other. And then we would go into the Shamrock car wash and we'd clean off all the egg. And then the second we were pulling out of the Shamrock car wash, we'd get eggs hitting our car again. So we would play chase with eggs on Main Street. The other thing we would do would be toilet papering. So often we would go toilet papering. A lot of times we'd do that for a congratulations to somebody that was in a club that we were in. So we'd go to their house. We would toilet paper their house. If you take a toilet paper roll, stand at the base of the tree, and you throw it as hard as you can up over that tree, it makes a beautiful streamer over the tree. So the more toilet paper rolls you can get from your mom and dad's storage, the better. So that's what we did. We went all the time and we would raid their pantry and go toilet papering.
Well, the good stuff is when you saved up the used toilet paper. Now that's when it's really good toilet paper.
Oh,
it's a little messy.
so to make it even worse, if you wanted to be mean, you would take one of their hoses and tie it up to their spigot on their house, and you would take the hose end, spray all of that toilet paper in all of those trees. They would not be very happy. So after Grandpa Dave and I got engaged, my friend and I decided that we were going to go to his house and toilet paper his house. You know, one of those things we did. So we went to his house, pulled in the driveway.
I was asleep.
He was asleep. We pulled out the toilet paper, ready to get going on these trees, and we saw a sheriff's car coming around the corner down the street. So we knew that it was illegal, so my friend and I jumped in the car, and we took off as fast as we could. So we decided, oh no, if we get caught with all this evidence, we're going to jail. We're going to jail. So we decided to get rid of the evidence, rolled down the windows, and started throwing all of these toilet paper rolls out of the windows. So here is this officer behind us, just, I'm sure, laughing his guts out, going, why is there toilet paper being thrown out of that window on either side of this car? So then he flipped on his lights, and we stopped. We stopped the car. We're like, oh gosh, we're busted. So he came up to the window, and he was like, so, girls, got a bit of a mess to clean up back there, don't you? You need to go pick up the toilet paper rolls. So that was one of our excursions with
that was
Grandpa
the town
Dave.
marshal.
That was the town marshal. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the town marshal.
Yeah.
So that was one of them. Sorry.
She can't wear glasses because they shine.
Oh, I have all the fun things. I have all the fun things in the 70s written down.
So we did it, and then with their glasses, and she looked like she was possessed.
Laverne and Shirley, Brady Bunch, Happy Days, Shag Carpet. Now the shag carpet either was really a bright, bright orange or an olive green. Riding in the family station wagon. And I said the one about dragging Maine. So when I was growing up, when I was 14 years old, I wanted a job. I really, really wanted a job. So my mom and dad said, okay, fine. So I started working at A&W Drive-In. A&W Drive-In was a blast. It's the car hop of the century. There was even a time that we wore roller skates, like back in the 50s. So you'd go up to their car, you'd put their tray on and say thank you, whatever. So then I worked at the campus drive-in, which was also a car hop campus. And Dave and I were dating, and I had a friend that came and finished that story, because I'm not even sure what it was. I know you yelled at somebody.
Oh, your boss?
Was it
I yelled at her boss. They sold the business to a Chinese fellow, and they did roasted chicken.
Yeah, roasted chicken.
Roasted chicken. And they had some chicken that had gone bad, gone green, and they threw it away. And then the boss came in and pulled it all out. He was going to make them serve it.
Sell it.
Anyway, she ended up getting let go, and I went in and chewed him out.
Yeah.
I had him quivering in the corner. Not proud of that.
So back on the dragging Maine, that's when I met Grandpa Dave, and he's talked about that before, the dragging Maine. That's how we met. So I remember after dating and going out on a few dates, he invited me to his mom and dad's Easter party. So that's the one thing I remember a lot about his family, was they had some amazing parties. Oh, this is Dottie, by the way. This is our dog Dottie. Anyway, so we would go to these amazing parties, and the Easter party was really fun because I got to meet his family, and that was really our first main date, was getting to meet the family, and they had on this huge spread. So my mom and dad, they never had these big, huge dinners like his mom and dad did, and they put on a huge Christmas dinner, a huge Thanksgiving dinner, and a huge Easter dinner. So because I was introduced to that, we've always kind of carried on that tradition in our family, and we've had those big dinners too, and they've been amazing. It's fun to have our kids over and to hide the Easter eggs and have the piñata often, and it's just such a neat family event with our kids
Yeah,
and
now
our
I'm working
grandkids.
Triple X.
And there was a time that he took me up to Wyoming. I had my first Reuben with pastrami, real pastrami, and really yummy bread, and the coleslaw.
That's fun.
Not coleslaw. Not coleslaw.
I don't remember.
Sauerkraut.
Oh, sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut on a Reuben. And I'd never had sauerkraut before.
It was actually pretty good.
It was good. It was good. And now I like sauerkraut.
And I had enough money to pay for it that
And he had enough money to pay for it that
And the car
time. It was
started.
awesome.
We almost killed some people in a van on the way up, though.
Yeah, he was a little scary. We had some good rides. Really, really, really fun rides.
Mm-hmm.
We had talked about Bigfoot.
Oh, that.
We were talking about Bigfoot. So we
Well-
decided, go ahead. What was the rest of the...
This was a Saturday, and I'd gone to a movie with a friend, and it was about Bigfoot attacking these miners in a log cabin. It was one of those, I can't remember what they call them, like a newsreel type stuff, like it's really happened type thing. And I was telling her about it when we, and just to set it up, because she's going to flutter around this. Some people go to and watch the submarine races, they go up and park. This would be one of those instances where you go to park and smooch a little bit. So I found this place up Logan Canyon. There was a little road that went up into nowhere, and it ended, and there's a bunch of trees around us. Okay, now go ahead.
There's a bunch of trees
dark.
around us. And he started telling me about this movie, Newsreel. It's a newsreel. Newsreels are real. So he's telling me about Bigfoot.
Yep.
And we're smooching a little bit here and there, and I was like, what was that? Did you hear something? What was that? No, I didn't hear anything. Are you sure you didn't hear anything? I think I heard something. What if it's a Bigfoot? So then we started scaring ourselves, and we were like, okay, we need to go. So he started up the car, and we just took off out of there so fast.
Yeah.
And then he... Oops. He told me that's Bigfoot. He gave me a really beautiful sapphire necklace. And then about on the fourth date, maybe, I think it was the fourth date, he asked me to marry him. And it was like, sure, yeah.
Yeah, when you know, you know.
Why not? Okay, yeah. But he was really, really sweet all the time. Very, very respectful. Yeah. I was thinking about when we were up there making out. But yeah, he was really respectful. Kissing, smooching.
I was a respectful smoocher.
He was. Except for Bigfoot. Oh, I have to tell you this funny story. I had it written down. It reminded me.
I don't know if that's a good story. This might be false.
No, it's not false. So I was home on one Saturday afternoon.
It's false.
And he called me on the phone. He was working at Denny's. It's a stationery store up in Smithfield. So he called me on the phone and he said, what are you doing? I says, oh, it's Saturday. I'm just hanging out, not doing anything. And he said, so I might have cut myself really bad. You did? Oh, no. Well, can I bring you, have you got Band-Aids? Do you need some stuff to put on it? What can I do? I don't know. I'm bleeding pretty good. Maybe you could come up and nurse me. Nurse me back to health. So I said, okay.
Got her up there.
Okay. I'll drive up to Smithfield and I will take care of you.
Got to make it look worse than it was.
So I get up there, and this is really sweet because he just wanted to see me.
Mm-hmm.
So I get up there, and he's got this little itty bitty cut on his face.
Told you it was about that old.
And he's got a cup, and he's squeezing the blood out as hard as he can. So there's like 10 drops in the bottom of this
I had to make it look serious.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? You really brought me up here for this.
Well,
for this.
Came.
I came. I did. I went up to Smithfield. But later on, down the years, now it's kind of an inside joke. We always use that joke. Anytime he calls me, anytime he says anything, I'm like, did you cut yourself? Did you have a cup that you're putting blood in? Are you okay?
You might have to put it back in.
But it was really sweet. It was really sweet. So on my side of our whole dating experience, I couldn't have asked for a more wonderful guy. I mean, he always treated me so kind.
My ears are ringing.
So much respect, and we had so much fun. We did so many things.
We did that.
We went always, he always showed me a really, really good time. I didn't find out until later that he spent all of his paycheck on me when we went dating. Because he would always take me to a really nice restaurant. We would always go to a movie. And he was always just giving me presents. Yeah, Star Wars.
Corvette Summer.
Oh, gosh.
The Manitou.
Drive-in movies.
Well, we didn't watch them often.
But he was always such fun and such a good date. And then I have so many wonderful, wonderful memories of that time. And now we have 5 beautiful children and
All for sale.
wonderful grandkids. And
All for sale.
so that's my part of our whole romantic experience.
Wow.
I want to hear more about the van.
The van?
The van?
The scary driving with the van.
Scary driving with the van? Is there something you haven't told me?
I don't know. I'm curious to hear about it myself.
Didn't you just say something about a van?
Oh, when I about run one off the road?
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to hear this.
Well, I was driving really fast. You know, at Logan Canyon, I could get up to 100 miles an hour on some of them corners in that car.
And took so much pride in it, too.
And I corner
but
really
that's
sharp
okay.
sometimes. And I had to get around, and I was coming around, and there was a van coming around the corner like that, and I about ran him over, and he went off the road and smoked. I could see the guy's face. He kind of had that look on his face. And, yeah, I kept going because I looked behind my mirror. He was pulled back on the road. He probably wet his pants, but, you know, that's fine.
And he did the same thing in the Pinto. He just thought it was so cool to come down Logan Canyon at 100 miles an hour, cornering everything while I was holding my breath, thinking, oh, I'm going to die, I'm going to die.
You could bury the needle on that thing. That was really cool. It motated. It was fun. And it cornered like an expensive car, man. That thing would just corner. Nowadays, I'm 2 or 3 miles under the speed limit.
And you know what would be fun is, because all of our 5 children were just not even a twinkling in my eye yet when we were dating, it would be cool to have them ask us questions. Questions that they want to know about Mom and Dad when they weren't around.
Some might
It'd
not
be
be
fun.
answered.
But that's my story.
No, the smooching is just that, just smooching.
Yeah.
Doing just smooching. There's a couple of times, you know, I pull up into the driveway and her dad, I think I talked about this in the first one, but he had the porch light on, and we'd be doing, and not the whole, everything's fogged up. You can't see outside the car, but you can see the little glow from the light. And you click it on, and I'll
Time to come in.
It was like a 5-minute warning, a 10-minute warning, and you were in deep doo-doo, you know, till you see her dad come out in his underwear. That was a little spooky.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah. Least he could have done is put something on. Jeez. Just because the windows were fogged up didn't mean I couldn't see them. Scary, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love you, Dad.
Yeah. Well, you know, there was some fun dates. We did a lot. The rides were especially fun. You do a lot of talking, and like we talked about, you spook each other. She had all these really cool stories, you know, about the witch and all that other stuff. And it was, yeah, just kind of fun. There's one time I took her on a date. It was on a Sunday, I believe. And we went for a ride, and I wanted to go out west. And we got lost. Ended up in Nevada. And, well, she had to spell me driving back. We got back late. Went through a tank and a half of gas. I don't know. I went down this road I'd gone down since I was a kid, and we just went a little bit further, and next thing I'm in this state, and then I'm in this state, and I'm, holy heck. We found our way back, though.
Yeah. We got to know each other well through the long rides, talking and talking and talking. It was good.
We did, but you know,
And we still go on long rides.
yeah.
We enjoy the rides.
Except we know how to get home now. Nobody switches the light off. The dogs do,
Yeah, dogs do.
especially that one.
When we're out in the front trying to
Yeah.
make out,
Yeah,
Lily's flipping the light on and off.
right, right. But you know, those were the datings. She didn't really hear about all my monster stories and stuff
Mhm.
like that. She
That was
didn't
fun
know
to hear.
that I was a secret agent, and she didn't know that I had done all these wonderful things and had all these marvelous adventures, you know. She was actually surprised later on to find out that I was famous.
It's always famous in my eyes.
Well, you know, we'd go into a room and people would look. You know, when I was younger, remember when we were married? And
I think we're still married.
no, you know, yeah, after we were married, I had this. I kind of looked like somebody
Long time
famous.
Oh, you did. You did. John Stockton.
Mm-hmm.
He was a basketball player for the Jazz.
Yeah, I mean, I looked a lot like him. You know, I was 6'3" and skinny then, skinnier. I'm a little more handsome now, but. And we went to one place to work in
Copper Mill Restaurant.
Copper Mill Restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And
They're gone
the
now.
waiter was just sure I was him. And I wasn't going to tell him no. I mean, I was getting great service.
We got a free turtle cake dessert.
And it was
out
a
of
big piece, too.
It
Man,
was good.
I mean, he did a great thing. And all these people around are just kind of like, they're just soaking it up.
Well, it was funny because he kept coming over and he was like, so if you were this particular person,
You wouldn't tell me.
you probably couldn't tell me anyway. Or if I asked for your signature and autograph, would that name be on there? Poor kid.
Oh, it was funny. You know, a long time later, when we were doing the gunfighting down at the Heritage Center, and I played different parts, and Jerry Sloan, the coach, or no, can't remember his name, but he came, and I was just coming back from changing for our next gunfight, and he was looking at me pretty dang hard. It turned out that he was really into the Old West. And he was really nice to me for a little bit too, but you know, by then I started sprouting. You know, right now we think it's triplets, but you know, just the way life goes.
It does. I don't look like anybody famous. I just look like me.
It's just cute. They couldn't put somebody like her on the screen. Everybody'd fall in love, and then I'd be in trouble.
Aww, let me hear it. Aww.
Somebody's having a kidney stone here. Anyway, yes, it would be fun to have people ask questions and stuff like that. We
Would
could
be
tell
fun.
all kinds of things.
I think John's going to try and put something like that together in the next month or so. It'd be fun.
It'd be embarrassing. That would be good.
Our grandkids want to know about Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah. Like I said, there's certain things you're not allowed to know. Like when I was a secret agent, some of it's classified still, so we can't talk about that. Anything else you want to say?
We've been married for a lot of years. We're still happy. We're still in love. And we grow together more and more in this new season of being empty nesters every day.
Empty heck. See the dogs?
Well, that's true. We do have dogs. And
You
our
know,
chickens.
You try hard to raise your kids, then you replace them with dogs, and they're worse than kids.
Yeah, she's kind of my baby.
Now we got chickens. Dogs, chickens, cats.
Oh yeah, we have a cat too.
Yeah, well, cat now. Anyway, that's the stories that we didn't really get to tell. And I'm sure there's more of them, but you know, one thing that I will say that she made it extremely clear in the first one that she was an advanced dater, you know, a professional, and I was a low timer. And one thing I wouldn't dance. I couldn't dance. I didn't dance. So I never asked her out to a dance. I never went to a dance right there. Never. Yeah. See, I suck at dancing. Yeah, I don't boogie down. I boogie up and fall down. And then other people get hurt, and then people scream, and then fires start, and then the National Guard shows up. The news media comes. It's kind of like Carrie. You've seen the movie Carrie, right? Yeah, that's what happens when I dance. So that's why it's actually to save her life. It was a selfless act on my behalf.
Now I can boogie.
Yeah, she can boogie.
It's okay. He took me to a lot of nice places to eat. I like food.
Yeah, and they all been torn down now.
Yeah.
So, anyone behind the camera want us to say any more? Everybody's quiet. Okay. You know, you should insert cricket sound. I can't hear crickets. It's kind of cool. Anyway, that's our stories, and we're sticking to it. Any more you'd like to say?
No, well, I'm good.
That I am for sale.
Those are just for me.
Yeah. Oh, I have a trailer for sale in the backyard. Anybody wants to buy it? Call 905-BAR-12. And you thought that because of this I'd forget some wisdom for you. No, I'm not. So the other day, I was in the kitchen with my wife, and she asked me how my day was, and I told her, I said, you know, I've been trying to kill all these dang flies. She says, really? And I said, yeah, I got 5 of them. 5? Yeah. 3 men and 2 girl flies. She got really impressed, because I am pretty dang smart. She said, well, how can you tell? And I said, really? Oh, that's pretty easy. The 3 of them were on the beer can, and 2 were on the phone. Later.